God created Adam and Eve and told them to 1, go increase in number, and 2, fill the earth. Increasing in number sounds doable, but how were they going to fill the earth? Was Eve supposed to deliver 7 billion babies? Of course, God didn't mean for the first couple to fill the earth by themselves. He meant for them and their progeny to do it. First, Adam and Eve had their children. The Bible tells us the boys' names were Abel, Cain, and Seth. It is a guess, but let's assume they had daughters as well. Their names were daughter 1, daughter 2, and daughter 3. Maybe there were more children, but let's stick with these 6. The children grew up with each other. They ate, played, and worked together. Along with mom and dad, they were one big happy family. One day, Adam and Eve sat down with them and told them about God's instructions to increase in number and fill the earth. The kids looked at each other and said, "What? Are you telling us to have sex with each other?" They felt like God's instructions were disgusting. The idea of having sex with their brother or sister made them very uncomfortable. They felt like it was just wrong. And it was. God makes it clear that you're not to have sex with your sister. In Leviticus 18:9, it says, "Do not have sexual relations with your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she was born in the same home or elsewhere." Leviticus is the book of God's law. It didn't work for any of the kids to have sex with their mother or father either. It says, "Do not dishonor your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She's your mother. Do not have relations with her." This is a bit of a dilemma for Christians. There was no way for Adam and Eve's kids to have children without breaking God's law, whether or not it was written. Some answer the question by saying Adam and Eve had more kids than mentioned in the Bible. For example, the Jews believed they had 56 children. If they had a lot of kids, maybe a couple of brothers and sisters could have had sex when nobody was looking, and that would be okay. However, God's law applies no matter how many children there were. Others say that Adam and Eve's kids had sex with non-humans because those creatures would not be relatives. But if they were not human, they would have been animals, and God says not to have sex with animals. Do not have sexual relations with an animal and defile yourself with it. A woman must not present herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. That is a perversion. Sometimes you hear the question differently. Since Cain was the first one to find a wife, where did he get her? The origin of Cain's wife is one of the more challenging questions posed by Bible skeptics. In the 1925 Scopes trial, lawyer Clarence Darrow asked opposing lawyer and Christian William Jennings Bryan about Cain's wife. Bryan had no answer. The subject came up again in the book and movie Contact by Carl Sagan. The main character complains there is no answer to the question. But there is an answer. In the previous video, I told you that Adam and Eve were the first human beings. That is, they were each a human, a physical attribute, plus a being, a spiritual attribute. Evolution produced Homo sapiens, or to identify them from now on, we'll call them physical humans. They looked and behaved exactly like we do today. The only difference was physical humans had no spirit attached to them. They had no God or self-awareness. The scriptures describe God attaching a spirit to each of them in the second biblical account of creation. A physical human plus a spirit became a spiritual, physical human. A Venn diagram shows what happened before and after the creation of Adam and Eve. Before, there were 2 circles. the physical world and the spiritual world. Physical humans were in the physical world and God in the spiritual. After Adam and Eve, we have overlapping circles with physical humans in one, two, God in the other, and in the middle, spiritual physical humans. Adam and Eve occupied new territory. They resided in the merging of the physical and spiritual worlds. The Bible says Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all living. Living does not mean attribute like those of a plant or a bug. It means spiritual life. Thus, Eve is the mother of all spiritual physical humans. So let's get back to the original question. Who did Adam and Eve's kids marry? They married physical humans. Again, physical humans looked and behaved exactly like Adam and Eve's kids, but they had no connection with God. Where did they come from? The same place as Adam and Eve, the pool of physical humans that evolved on the earth. Thus, there were spiritual, physical humans and physical humans living together. They were indistinguishable. Adam and Eve didn't know if they were interacting with a person who had a relationship with God or one that didn't. The same is true today. There are those that are God-aware and those who are not. Think about all the different ways the Bible talks about the separation of people based on their relationship with God. Noah and his family were saved, and the rest were destroyed. The Jews were God's people, and others were not. It talks about the wheat and chaff, the sheep and goats, and the holy and unholy, etc. So which are you? If you are self-aware, you are also God-aware, and you are one of the chosen. You were chosen before you even existed. Ephesians 1:4 says, "For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight." The us refers to conscious beings. This is going to be upsetting to some Christians. They are going to feel cheated because they have worked so hard at being better than bad people. But I'm telling you that if you are conscious, God chose you no matter how bad you've been. That is the heart of the gospel, which means good news. Go celebrate and tell somebody that you're chosen. This is a lot to digest. I've been thinking about this for over 50 years, so I don't expect you to get on board in 10 minutes. Take your time getting your brain around it and let me know what you think. Please leave your comments and questions below or contact me at my email address. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, humility, thanks, and joy.